Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here with Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour Podcast.
Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 316. Thank you for joining us tonight. Look at us getting a little bit back on schedule there.
We're getting there. You've only gone to what, another three concerts since last week?
Just one, just Eric Clapton. But I did have two kid birthday parties and had to do some other crap and some other crap. So yeah, once again, extremely busy. Right. I keep saying I'm at the tail end. I think I'm at the tail end. And I'm thinking about this weekend coming up, and it's like, it might be another busy one, just in different ways. Woohoo!
Just learn to say no or enforce it with your wife. That's it. That's all you have to do, Jim.
Brian.
Yeah, finish that.
Brian. And speaking of finishing, for as little as $1, you can check out this week's bonus segment as we delve into a little bit of science there, Brian. A science of the elusive squirt, as one could say.
Yes, Jim. God damn it. I didn't think you were going to mention that.
It was too good a transition. I can't help it.
It is. But before we get into this episode, unfortunately, breaking news, world of gaming, many people know, we do want to raise our beers. Billy from Game Chasers has passed away, unfortunately. It's awful. He's been battling, having multiple brain surgeries to deal with tumors from cancer. We don't know much other than it was literally just reported up to an hour ago from when we're recording. So really, truly sorry for his family, for his friends. Completely awful, way too young. Never heard anything but good things about the guy. So cheers to him. I'm really sorry to hear that.
So, I'm kind of actually fucked up over it. Because I was a fan of the channel. I know we never met the guys, we never talked to them. It's not like we were, close to them or have any kind of personal connection. But they're one of those channels that have been around the retro scene forever. They were one of the first big ones, besides Pat the NES Punk, who made going out to the flea markets and the garage sales and all that, and videotaping your journeys through there, really a thing. It's I was inspired by them when I had my old little thrifting series for a little bit. And again, he was a father. We're both fathers. And I think the guy was only in his maybe early to mid 40s, if that. So it's, when it comes down, it's just fucking terrible. It's a fact of life. Unfortunately, it's a thing that we all kind of have to deal with at one time or another. But yeah, it's awful. Not much more to say than that.
No, you said it well. I mean, truly, like I said, any fans of his, friends, I hope I hope he recognized there was people pulling for him and that he recognized the reach he had, because it does seem pretty substantial. Made a lot of people, entertained a lot of folks, and like you said, he had kids, family, friends. So feel awful. Way too young. Just awful.
Yeah, and besides all of his friends out there, and especially his co-hosts, Jay and Dodongo and Melvor and all the people who are Chris and everyone else who was super close to him, our hearts go out to you. This is a terrible time.
Yeah. So pour it out for him. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
So Chambers, what are you drinking tonight, by the way?
Well, Brian, I am drinking another one that I picked up in my little escapade out to New York when I went and saw Blink from the Upward Brewing Company out of the Catskill Mountains, their Breadwinner IPA. So very simple, to the point design right there. But a little bit elegant. Nothing really there. It just says it is a juicy ale, Beer Mountain made. 5.5% alcohol. And you know what? It's definitely it's an IPA. It's got the, yellowish, almost lager, light lagerish kind of hue to it. Not a lot of lacing to it, not a lot of head. I've evolved to the point where I'll do, a pretty strong pour at first, get about half a cup of head before leveling it off to get that full effervescence going, as they say. And yeah, I mean, it's got a really nice, light, you get the pininess that you would expect from an IPA, but it's not overpowering at all. So it might just be a bog standard IPA, but it's extremely solid.
Nice. Um, now I think I this may be my first official Oktoberfest. I talked about having what was it? Yards, I believe. I think they called it their fest beer, but it was like a pretzel style beer. This is Sierra Nevada, and I'm pretty sure of all the fest Oktoberfest beers, I've never had this one. I don't know if I've ever remember seeing this one from October or from Sierra Nevada, because Sierra Nevada, for those who don't know in the beer scene, they were like the big dogs, like introducing IPAs nationally and like being the brand that does it that wasn't your local craft. Like they were the ones. So they're always well regarded and they generally are known for pretty good quality. So far, what's interesting is Oktoberfest or yeah, Oktoberfest are mostly known for heavier malt, a very bready flavor, and this one is just smooth. I don't taste a ton of malt, but there's definitely zero bitterness to this thing, and I can tell you, you could probably go through this really fast. Let's see if it has the percentage or doesn't. I hate when they do that. The only other interesting thing, oh, I'm sorry. There it is. 6%. So, pretty normal for Oktoberfest. They are in this beer is in collab with Stortbecker, Brauspitz, Zieletaten. I don't know. I I haven't taken German since high school. So, but yeah, so they're in collab with somebody who made this. So far, I'm enjoying it. Very drinkable. The flavor profile, though, it's a little light for me. I kind of like my Oktoberfest to be like, ooh, like you get that sweetness and really like makes it taste good. Not saying it's bad, just so far, probably not the best Oktoberfest I've had. So,
Hmm.
fairly solid.
Yeah, I mean, Sierra Nevada, it's weird with them because like you kind of forget that they are a craft brewer with just how all over the place they are and how big they are. But yeah,
Mhm.
it kind of I was almost expecting a little bit better from them out of an Oktoberfest, but yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, no, I mean, they perfect it. Well, perfected's a weird word. But their IPA, I believe it's called Celebration. I think that's what it was called. I think that was the big one that hit. Their pale ale is obviously well known, but once again, they're always pretty damn good. So Chambers, moving from that though, you point out you went and saw Clapton, had a lot of busyness. Have you gotten any gaming in? Because last time you've been slugging along with the Prince of Persia, making 1 to 2% progress. How have you been doing?
I mean, I didn't have dick really for time for gaming this week. You know what? I'm actually gonna get back into more normal gaming than like the StarCraft addiction that took me up this whole year. Basically, I finally like hit a milestone that I wanted to hit, and the second I hit it, I won't spoil it because if you follow my StarCraft page, links are below. You'll see, how I'm getting there. So basically, I had a thing I wanted to do. I got to it. That upload will probably be up in like October. So just with how many videos I have there. But it was weird. It was almost like after I did the Tetris, um, where I finally beat Tetris 99, where it's just like,
You did it. It was a thing.
right. And it's not like the StarCraft page is going to go away, but like that's definitely going to slow down. And like I can go back to everything else because like I'm like, all right, I did the thing I wanted to do. Now I can go back in. Like I can start Astrobot or I can finally finish fucking Prince of Persia. So that'll be like I'm not going to hit all my resolution games. Obviously, it's too late in the year unless I go freaking crazy. But I mean, there's always a chance. I have like
Never say never, Jim.
never say never. Some of them aren't the longest games in the world, so it could happen. But
Yeah,
yeah,
3.5 months. You can do it. You can bang it out.
yeah, I can do things. Who needs sleep? So yeah,
Mm-mm.
I can get back to that. But yeah, for the most part, I didn't do really too much gaming. How about you?
I'm still deep in God of War, and I finally was at a point where I'm like, all right, I know I'm, you know, uh-oh, it's about to happen. Like,
Got to poop?
uh-oh. Now, like it's right there, right? And I was like, let me just look up how many main missions I have left. So I think I have maybe two or three main missions left. So I'm right near the end. I said I don't plan on 100%ing it, but there's so many things I'm like on the cusp of like getting all the collectibles. I'm already 39 hours into the game, and I'm kind of like, fuck it. I'll look up where the final like this is or that is, just because I haven't looked at anything up to this point. But I'm like getting that fatigue of like, all right, I do want to see the end of the story because I am invested in that. But I'm like, all right, I can't leave it at 94% for this collectible thing. I'm like, and I'm not gonna just search all nine worlds. I'm like, fuck that. I will just be like, where is this last thing? Just to close out some of those. But yeah, it's a great game. I mean, there's really it's another I feel like this year I've done probably the highest rated games of gaming history ever. Like with Red Dead 2, Ocarina of Time, God of War 2, like I've knocked out some fucking juggernauts and all of them I say the same thing over and over. It's like they're not overrated. They're rated for what they are. So the love God of War 2 got, it's for a good goddamn reason. So I said as soon as this is done, I'll bang out Hellblade 2. Then I'll finally finish off with Black Myth Wukong, and that'll be my resolution games. Um After that, I'll probably start sinking my teeth into Silk Song because I really do want to play that. But I recognize that's a grind onto itself.
That's gonna be an investment for you. Yeah.
Hmm. But Jim and I were supposed to meet tonight in person. Every kids are back to school, which means sicknesses are back.
Sicky
And
time.
half my house is sick right now. So I was like, you know what, Jim? Let me spare you. Let's do virtual. Let's plan a different day. We'll get together because we are ready to bang out the reviews for X-Men and X-Men 2, which was a request thanks to you awesome patrons. So while I am banging through my resolution games, I'll also be recording Max Payne because that is the next review after the X-Men games. But Chambers, speaking of our patrons, what questions do we have this week?
Questions over at patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, where for as little as $2 a month, you can ask a question that we will answer on each and every single episode of these Power Hour podcasts. So, just one this week from good old Burned Retinas. If you had to do a 24-hour video game marathon stream, what three games can you swap between? What games would you pick? Once you've changed a game, you can't go back to it.
24 hours and it's only three games?
Yep.
Damn, I was right away. If you were going to say 24 hours, I was going to say just Resident Evil games, but I could pick three of the longer Resident Evil games, but I wouldn't want to do that.
Or play them like
Um,
multiple times, like maybe do
well,
Resi 1 and then go back with the other character, and or
that's what I'm thinking. Like, you know what? No, let me stick with Resident Evil. Let me think about that. Maybe I do Resident Evil 2. Definitely, I think probably, I'll probably do the remake, go through Claire, Leon, B, A. But does it do it in the remake? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember if it had that swapping and the Leon B and Claire A shit. Um, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 1 remake, and definitely not 4. 5 could take a lot of time, or 6 could take a lot of time. That game alone took like fucking 20 some hours. You know what? I would probably do I'd fuck around with Village or 7, one of those. Honestly, what I would do is I would beat them all normally, and then I'd probably go back and something I've actually toyed with in my head is going back to Resident Evil 1 remake and then going through it and not speed running, but like seeing get S rating on all the games and then try to do the thing like, beat it with just a knife, get tofu, shit, the dumb shit like that. So I think I would do that because I would just never really get tired of playing those. So yeah, those would be mine.
yeah, I think if I'd be doing a 24-hour stream, I would try to do stuff that I think I could keep entertaining the whole time. So I'm probably like, 24 hours, 3 games, so 8 hours apiece. So I think I could do StarCraft 2, obviously.
You know
Break
what?
out.
No.
What?
I'm gonna force you. You gotta do a. You can't do a multiplayer game, single player,
No,
because then
multiplayer?
I could do Call of Duty. You know, for like if I want to do that, do a single player campaign style game.
Ah, ah.
No easy answers here, bitch.
Not easy answers. I'm trying to do it for the people here, Brian. I'm trying to be entertaining. But
Yeah, but
I
you're terrible at StarCraft, so you want to be
right.
entertained.
That's why it would be entertaining for people. I was also going to throw Tetris on there, Tetris 99. So because people love it when I suffer, so it's perfect. But let's see here. All right. I guess I'd finally do maybe a JRPG everyone loves. So I'd throw
Okay.
like a Chrono Trigger or one of the Final Fantasies or something along those lines. Because one, it'll get me decently far into the game, and two, it'll be instead of shit talking these games, actually sitting down and playing them for more than like 2 hours. So I could do that for at least one of them, or do that for I got to play 3 games. Um, and then maybe I would pick like a shoot 'em up game and try to like 1cc it basically, which means I don't die. So
Hmm.
yeah, so basically pick one. I don't know if I'd pick one that I'm good at or pick one, fresh and go, let's see how I do with it and just try to see in 8 hours how far I could get with that. I'm sure my fast twitch reflexes, of which I barely have any at this point, would definitely be hurting after 8 straight hours of doing that. And what else?
See, would you
You know
try
what?
to do
Maybe
something like a Streets of Rage 2 where you do beat it with every character and have to beat it with each one with no hits or something like that?
God, no hits would be like impossible. I don't have that kind of tism for these games, but maybe I'd pick like a sports game, like a Madden or something, and try to go through like a season.
A season mode? Yeah. Manager mode or what do they call it? Franchise. I forget what they call those.
Yeah, whatever. Like Road to the Show, like an MLB The Show, one of those. So yeah,
Would you probably stick to like the early aughts or would you do like a brand new one?
right. I would have to go and get the newest one. If I'm gonna say like do a Madden, I got to use my birds from last year. All right.
That's true. That's true. All
Like, am
right.
I gonna sit there and play Madden and not be Saquon Barkley? Like, come on now.
Here's the real question. I'm very curious. Neither you or I have probably played a new Madden in gazillion years. Do you think they have the tush push in there?
You think they'd have to, right?
You would think, but I could see that being kind of a weird programming. I don't know. I
And
don't
wouldn't you?
know.
And like I know these, I'm pretty sure these games like simulate like social media and Twitter posts at the bottom scroll. So if you had the tush push going, would you have every team in the league bitching about it and then conveniently
Yeah.
using it when it tries to benefit them? How weird! They all vote to
Or
not have it, and then they all
or
fucking
try to
use
use
it.
it and they suck at it and they can't do it because
Then
their
they go,
QB
wah, wah,
can't squat
wah.
500 like ours. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Oh, 3 giants hurt themselves doing the tush push. Well, you have fucking shitty fake turf that hurts everybody. So
It's not fair. They keep doing it and winning. Wah.
pussies. So
That's
yeah.
that's a good answer though. Yeah, I like that.
So there we go. But yeah, that's a question I like. Maybe, I mean, we're not big enough to ever warrant doing a 24-hour fucking stream, but if we ever did, it would be an interesting experience.
You know what I would like us to try to do sometime is like the page does a 24-hour, but we each take a 12-hour shift. Like we tag in. Basically, I take first 12 or you take first 12 and then the other half 12. Do it that way. I think
Yeah,
that would actually just be fun to do.
just
So,
to
you
do
know
one
what?
time. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what it is? We got to pick ooh, here's the question. I've never watched a 24-hour stream. Do you start it in the morning or do you start it the night before? I don't
That
know
I,
what's the better way to like if you start 12 midnight, you go to 12 noon, then the other one takes up it's 12 noon and 12 midnight. Like that wouldn't be too bad, but then you basically just have to sleep the day before whoever starts at 12 midnight.
yeah, basically.
But that's kind of what we do for COD releases, right?
Yeah, essentially. Although for COD, we eventually go, oh, it's 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm dead tired. I'm going to go sleepies. Nope. No, motherfucker. You got 6 more hours coming to you.
I think we need to plan this out, Jim. I think we need to figure out a reasonable day that we're both off on a Friday or a Monday. And then if you're off, we do it that Saturday. Do like the 12 a.m. of that Saturday, so have Friday night into the noon, or do it into Sunday.
Yeah, no,
It's,
I agree. That'll be very interesting. So, yeah, we'll check the old schedules.
and maybe we try to purposely pick a franchise that you and I combine. We end up beating the whole franchise.
I mean, yeah.
It could be interesting.
And that's kind of like what our buddy Blade Blur does when he has his little anniversary streams. He'll pick a franchise and just try and plow through them. So, I
I
mean,
like it.
I think we can pull this off. Now, would you have a certain, albatross around your neck named me, who isn't as good at games? Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how we do.
That's why we would have to coordinate very closely on what the selected franchise is. I need to make sure I'd be like, Jim, all right, I beat the first 7 games. You just have to beat the eighth in 12 hours. I'll wake up and check on you. You're like,
on
fuck.
level 3. Fuck. I
You're just
can't do
crying
it.
in the corner. No. I really like that idea. I think we should do it. So, yeah.
Yep. All right, something we will look into. But that wraps up the questions for this week. So once again, thank you to everyone out there for the support. Really do appreciate it. And if you're listening for the first time, head on over to YouTube, iTunes, or Podbean. Check the links, leave some comments, leave some subscriptions. We also have our little affiliate links. So if you ever go to Skillshare and want to learn something, well, you can get 30% off a year of one class. If you head on over to Skillshare, use our code DBPG30, and you can learn how to help yourself maybe beat a game, learn a craft, learn a skill, and all that good crap. And also, if you're trying to build a collection for yourself, head on over to ghettogamer.net, where he's got a ton of Nintendo-related goodies over there. Games, consoles, accessories, cables, all that good stuff. He's got great pricing over there with a good selection. It's got that mom-and-pop touch without that mom-and-pop-up tick on pricing either. So, trust me, if you've been around the little guy shops, you'll see some things and go, well, what the hell is this? But him, he does it right. So, yeah, make sure to hit those links. Make sure to head on over to Patreon, give us some support. And hell, even while you're out there, head on over to the Game Chasers, watch some of their videos, get them a little boost in the old ad revenue. So, I'm sure they'll set up something for Billy in the meantime. So, help him out, help the rest of the guys out, help his family, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, and thank you guys for support. Make sure to get those questions in. Check out those links. Thank you guys. All right, Chambers. So I guess it's worth mentioning. The other big news since we last is the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And regardless how you felt, only thing I'm going to say about it is I don't think everyone needs to have particular feelings on it, but celebrating it is the fucked up thing. I don't think you should celebrate it. I think it was a really fucked up thing that happened. Once again,
Right,
young guy with kids.
Right,
I'm just
sorry,
going to say that.
I'm gonna have to tread on some toes here, Bri. I'm gonna have a very
Go
hot
ahead.
take here. Old upfront Jimmy.
Mhm.
I personally think
Yeah.
that you shouldn't shoot a guy's neck off in front of his kids. Harsh, I know,
Yes.
but I'm just gonna say, very brave stance. Like, yeah,
How about this?
regardless of what you think about him,
I'll go one step further, Jim. You shouldn't shoot a guy in the neck for opinions. I'm just going to say that. That's all. I'll leave it. I'll leave it there. There's been a whirlwind. Did that happen? What was that? Was that exactly a week ago?
it happened last Wednesday, so
So it's a week
week
and a day for us.
Yeah.
Okay. So since then, I'm sure, like everyone else, at first they had the wrong guy. Now they have the right guy. And all there is speculation. I mean, we're coming off hot on the presses of Jimmy Kimmel being pulled off his show. But one of the more interesting comments, and one of the things that a lot of people are starting to jump on the bandwagon, and it happens every time there's a shooting in any kind of way. Who gets usually blamed, Jim, or what gets blamed for when there's a shooting?
Well, Bri, it's obviously, well, I mean, these days it's trans people, but also after the trans people, then it's gamers. And actually, I mean, it's weird timing because even before the Charlie Kirk thing happened, There was like RFK was already going on like podcasts or speaking engagements, some things. And he was already like, I guess people were trying to bring up like mental health in the country, and he already started blaming video games. And I was like, oh, well, all right, here comes the topic. And then, of course, real life happened. And obviously, attention shifted. But then, of course, they brought it immediately back to gaming again. Now, of course, we've all gone through this a million times where you go, if someone says video games cause violence and you go, that's bullshit. There's always studies. And then unfortunately, you have a super high profile assassination with a gun scribbled with Helldivers memes. So kind of that's a tough one for the gaming community right there. But everyone's having their opinions on it. And of course, the grifters are coming out. And Bri, has there ever been a better joke of a reporter out there in the history of time than one Jerry Rivers himself, Geraldo Rivera, who went to X, the everything app, and he posted. We're recording this as of the 18th, which I guess the fucking Billy news. Like I was ready to come in here with piss and vinegar about Geraldo and the gaming and all this bullshit, and now I'm just so much like, man, what does it fucking matter? But yeah, I mean, it still deserves to be said. So Geraldo said, whether Tyler Robinson faces a firing squad in Utah for the murder of Charlie Kirk, my guess is the accused killer will probably have been motivated more by Halo and similar fantasy role play than by substantive political discord. The game features grunts versus elites. I'm guessing nobody wants to be an elite.
What's right under it directly, Jim? The con I say what you once again, I will defend this. The community notes aspect of Twitter, it sometimes it warms my soul when it just is the correction of shit. Because I see it all the time, but I just love what does that say right there, Jim?
Well, Bri, grunts serve under the elites as part of a fictional alien interspecies alliance called the Covenant in the Halo franchise. Also, studies have exonerated video games for decades from the false claim that they make children violent. So,
And readers can and I get it. Readers can add that, but here's the deal. All right. Video games have been the scapegoat for these type of things. Maybe I don't watch enough mainstream news. Let me rephrase that. I don't watch enough mainstream news. How has the same correlation never been tied to violent movies, action shooters that glorify that shit the way I feel like games always are? Like, and maybe they have, maybe I missed it. Early 90s, like when gaming, and I think it's weird for you and me because we've grown up with gaming, but still relatively as a media source or entertainment source, it's still very new, right? Like, let's honestly say the 80s is the boom, 90s, whatever. Even if you could make the argument, do games make people violent? The only way that would be substantiated is, was there violence before games? Was there, like, has there always been violence? And to your point, like, I didn't hear the thing about the stuff that you wrote in the bullets were actually memes from Helldivers. Wouldn't shock me, but like that's also video games are now so in the zeitgeist. That's why I'm shocked. Like they're still being targeted. Like the same way people choose not to target movies because it's so part of our culture. That's like it'd be stupid to say that, right? It's like you and I, we're drinking this, right? How many other drugs get called for shit? But alcohol, we goddamn know, makes people get into fights, do really dumb shit. We're all drinking it. We're all doing it. Like, I don't know. He's very out of touch, obviously. But that idea that video games make people violent, I always go back to. I'm like, do they or do they actually, are they a little bit of a release valve for those who might actually be more violent? You know what I'm saying?
oh, completely. I mean, it's always been a scapegoat, and I guess if I want to play, we like to play devil's advocate around here. So if you wanted to play devil's advocate about this talking point, maybe, like you said, compared to books or movies, there's a disconnect with a book or movie because you're just sitting there watching it or you're sitting there reading it. Whereas with a video game, you're hopping in, you're taking on the role of the people who are doing said blah 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 blah. And obviously, in today's day and age of gaming, it's a lot easier to get immersed and to put yourself as the player character. I mean, I think it's funny because I remember, the hearings back in the '90s and the news stories about it, and like they would play clips of like Streets of Rage 2, which in this day and age seems so quaint to have that be your example of like extreme violence in a video game, but it's been the same thing forever. So it's like, fucking Geraldo's just getting his attention while he can. You know, we waited, what was it, September 14th, so that would have been 4 days ago. So, everyone out there gave it a good 3 days before they started using it for using Charlie for their clickbait and their, videos and their articles and their grifts and all that bullcrap. And, this is just him hopping on that himself. So after that, there's been some updates in the world of gaming in the wake of the Charlie Wake Kirk assassination, blah blah. So there is a tweet that was put out on the 13th, the day before, actually. So funny enough, because Geraldo brings up Halo like the fucking boomer he is when Halo hasn't been cared
Relevant.
about in the zeitgeist of gaming for how fucking long now? Like
Yeah.
it comes out, people mostly go, "This kind of sucks." Some go, "Yeah, but this part's all right," and then it just goes away. Halo's not what it was. Like I'm shocked it didn't even say like Call of Duty, and to say fantasy games. Like I don't know if you had like an intern, like a millennial intern, fucking rated for him. I don't know. But from Dick Boron, he has here images of Kirk's killer Tyler Robinson's social media video gaming account known as Steam. Video gaming account known as quote unquote Steam. So obviously this is coming from a source of, well, one, he's a goddamn Brit bong, but two, a
Hmm.
source of someone who's not in the gaming sphere at all. So three of these games are extremely violent shooting and firearm simulators with graphic imagery where Tyler no doubt honed his skills and learned how to shoot and murder. So the games at the most played with 4,367.8 hours of Hearts of Iron 4. It looks like a World War II shooter. I know nothing about Hearts of Iron.
No, no, no. It's not a world. It's basically Risk, but
Wait,
World War
what?
II Risk. Yeah,
What?
it's a map-based game where you are basically think of playing World War II in Europe, and you're moving around the map, and it's basically Risk. I'm oversimplifying it, but that's yeah. It's not a shooter. It's not even. It's not even a third person. Like no, it's a map based. I'm taking over countries. So that's most of his time. To that point.
Okay,
So
so
what's
I'm gonna skip the next one for right now. I'm gonna come back
yep.
to it, Brian.
Okay.
After that, as far as pure games go, is Gary's mod with 680 hours, which is almost like a pre-Roblox, like people making different game modes out of like as a mod from another game. I forget it. Like it was popular like 10 years ago, like 2013. I think it was like super huge. It's still around, but
Yeah, it's just based on Valve's Source Engine, and it was the basis for Half-Life 2. So it was a mod to that game that had just
that's what it was.
the
Yeah.
the most ridiculous shit. To your point, like they would just be like, I can use assets from Half-Life 2 and all this. Prop hunt became one of the big things, which is now used in every game. Like, so yeah, who know anyone who plays on Steam probably has Gary's mod, and it's probably fairly old. But go on, continue.
Yep. Then after that is Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, which is 440 hours, and then
Hmm.
Counter Strike 2 with only 378 hours. So now, Brian, once again, this community note. So got put on here after I put this in the itinerary. So that's my excuse. It's saying this is not a screenshot of Tyler Robinson's Steam account. The screenshot was posted in a thread on r/Steam in December 2024. The user who posted the screenshot had posted elsewhere on Reddit after Robinson was incarcerated, so they cannot be Robinson. God fucking damn it.
But you know what? No, no, no. I like that that's there because this once again the hypocrisy of like people reporting so falsely on something number one, as we said, the video game account known as Steam, just how dumb it was written. But then on top of that, to get played, the shocking thing is the guy is like going back and forth. Everyone's now calling him out, like calm note it. Like people are busting on him, and he's still fighting the fight. Like, at what point do you just take the L and you're like, ah, fuck, maybe I need to take this down? Now, obviously, like I'm seeing up to 10 hours ago, he's still arguing with people about this shit on a tweet that's days old now. So it's like, yeah, get that off there. Um,
And he's not even a blue check mark, so he's not making money off all this engagement. He's just fighting with people for the love of the game.
he's got 42 followers or 44 followers. Like, I can't tell though, is he just like a troll himself? I that's the part I don't know. All of his pictures are AI generated if you click on his actual uh account. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna guess
maybe he is a troll. Yeah,
I'm gonna guess this troll. But either way, here's the thing.
God
He
damn it.
he's a troll, but you know there's people that believe this, and you know there's people that think this way. So this leads us to the final piece of this, right? Like, I think the big coup de grace, if you will be as of September 17th from oversight.house.gov. Chairman Comer invites CEOs of Discord, Steam, Twitch, and Reddit to testify on radicalization of online forum users. And in the link, you'll see all the individual, I mean, they all read the same. They're just obviously addressed to the different CEOs.
Yep.
The politically motivated assassination of Charlie Kirk claimed the life of a husband, father, and American patriot. In the wake of this tragedy and amid other acts of politically motivated violence, Congress has a duty to oversee the online platforms that radicals have used to advance political violence. To prevent future radicalization and violence, CEOs of Discord, Steam, Twitch, and Reddit must appear before the Oversight Committee and explain what actions they will take to ensure their platforms are not exploited for nefarious purposes. Huh?
That's fucking retarded. And also, where the hell's Twitter? See, what they did here is they went after places with a lot more left leaning people. That's what they fucking did here. So,
So I'm almost shocked. Like, is this still a sign that Blue Sky's too small to include in that?
Blue Sky's a hug box. Blue Sky is where all the crazies go. It is shocking that Blue Sky isn't listed on here, because if you hated Charlie Kirk and you wanted to see people praising his fucking death, that's the place to go. So yeah, it's shocking that that's not on there.
No
But I guess
Facebook.
Facebook's a lot of boomers and older people. So but yeah, seriously though, Facebook, Twitter, all any social media platform, like if you're just going, this is obviously just going after the gamers here. So
Yeah,
I don't
this
know if
is
it
a
was something.
gamer centric thing.
I don't know if it's this thing that's like, RFK was going to be trying to do anyway, and then they got a golden opportunity here with outrage. So yeah, but it's just like, come on, man. Like, these are places where people can go and just, like, obviously some people can get indoctrinated and shit like that, but that can happen anywhere. So it's just very transparent about what they're going after and who they're going after and why.
At the end of the day, the way I look at all this shit, the way it's being reported is, you know, if you really truly want to play devil's advocate, is it possible a game could make someone more violent? Sure. The
Yeah,
same
sure.
way someone reading a book could become more violent. Like, the same way any of that, like, is there a theory? Do I think there's direct correlation that like a completely quote unquote normal innocent person that picks up a game all of a sudden wants to go on a shooting spree? No. I would always put money against that. That's not the case that we're talking about. The folks that do all these things at the end of the day, very unstable. And regardless of what their pastime is, that's not the influence of their actions. So it's weird. I thought we were past games being the scapegoat for this shit, but there's still people out there who are going to push the agenda. So once again, if you purposely go against FPSs and military shooters, are you then also going against military and the Second Amendment and guns in general? Like, you have to take that next leap then. It's a weird, you can't do one without the other, right? So, I don't know.
All I know is fucking it's going to be a crazy couple of months coming up because there's a martyr now and there's going to be a lot of stuff done in the name of said martyr. So, for anyone out there who's planning on fucking killing someone that you think is spreading a message that is bad,
Just don't do
maybe
it.
maybe don't make a martyr out of them and make it 1,000 times worse on everyone you thought you cared about. So,
Or just don't do it.
well, also that, obviously.
You know, that's what I'll go.
First and foremost, don't kill. Kill bad.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Kill bad. Kill bad. No shoot. No shoot. Kill bad. How about that? Step one.
Uh, yeah. That I only forgive it in self-defense cases. Well, no, I'm sorry. There's other cases, but generally self-defense. Because you disagree with someone, never an excuse. Don't care what they say, don't care what their thoughts are. It's not an excuse.
Yeah, there's a. I mean, there's a lot of thoughts that people have on things. This isn't a page for it, but to keep it simple, yeah, just don't do it. How about that?
Yeah, that's it. Just don't do it. But Jim, let's move away from one depressing topic to more of an annoying topic, I'll say, and something that's reoccurring for us many times. Nintendo.
God,
They're
with the
always
news
in the
tonight, I would
news.
kill for just annoying. Oh my God. Oh wait, we just said no kill. I don't know what I want anymore.
Damn it, Jim. So Nintendo, we know Nintendo. Sue happy, patent happy, want to fuck over fans happy. Cool. Their latest thing, and it comes to us from Video Games Chronicle.com. Nintendo now has a US patent on summoning characters and making them battle for you. The new patent theoretically covers an action that is present in numerous non-Nintendo games. And the patent itself specifically kind of covers things that I'm not going to cover all of them, but basically a player controls a character in virtual space. A player can perform an input command to make a sub-character appear. If there's an enemy, sub-character appears, then they can control a battle between them. If there's no enemy, the sub-character appears. The sub-character will just kind of move around. And the player can move the sub-character to a different location on the field. And if the enemy is there, they can control a battle between them. So, once again, summon a character, summon someone. They're saying we want a patent on that, which is insane because so many fucking God of War 2. One of the actions you can do is have your little side person you're with come over and do something for you. It's not the full summon ability, but it's basically there. And that this trends a very fucking dangerous line. And this article kind of makes the assumption that, hey, this is just another example that that Nintendo's taken to kind of go after games like Pal World and kind of really kill off anyone that's going to compete with Pokemon at the end of the day. And it's just going to lead to a number of lawsuits, probably. So there's a lot of games that use this shit. Nintendo. This is exactly the same as who are those assholes who wanted to patent the React?
The Fine Brothers, I think.
Yeah, whoever they
Fucking
were. It's
going back
like
10
the
years
same
ago.
asshole who went back and put in a trademark for the song Happy Birthday because they could. Like, Nintendo, can you fucking chill? Like, are you going to go back and be like, hey, if you use a tube to go to another world, that's a patent on us for Super Mario? Like, come on, man. Like, what are you even doing anymore? Are your lawyers just that bored? Are your people that bored? You make so much money. You're like, what else can we do?
Or they're that paranoid. Like, man, Power fucked with their heads. That's all. That's all that reads like. Because the article goes and be like, I think like you said, it's like not that they have to go after anyone, but now they have the ability to. It doesn't mean they will, but you know.
Yeah.
And as a follow up on it, basically, a person on Blue Sky said, "Well, I don't think this is good. It basically is patenting the mechanic where you summon a character, they attack, and if there's nothing to attack, they hang out." So I guess they're getting very specific, but while saying that some other games also do the same thing, which, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like most people are still kind of shitting on the idea. Like I saw what you wrote, but it's like
I don't know how
I,
that makes it that much better though. For like, if that's like the best defense that people keep sharing.
it's not a good like that's my point. Like anything that could that gray line, right? Like what determines kind of hanging around? Is it 5 seconds? 1 second? Like the frame rate of the character not leaving quick enough could determine Nintendo can now sue you for that. Like it's just there's not a single positive thing about this because once again, how many games were Street Fighter 2 clones? Could you imagine if
Oh my
Street Fighter
god,
2, if Capcom was wanted to be complete dicks and be like, if you use a fighting game and you hold back on the D-pad and block, we're patenting that. Like all the shit they could have like patent, but guess what? Games became known as Street Fighter clones, just like Mortal Kombat clones. Like if there are Pokemon clones, you have your own game's name in the title. All it's going to do is drive people and do a direct comparison. And guess what? Most of the time they're going to go, yeah, this isn't quite as good as Pokemon. I want to go back to Pokemon. So fucking be smarter, dude. Like, I hate shit like this.
yeah.
Drives me nuts. Can't support it. Anyone in the comments, if you have a thought on this, I would love to hear it. But man, oh man, Nintendo, just when I keep wanting to say like maybe you're not that bad. You just keep doing dumb shit. Stop it.
That it's like the worst thing in the world. Like they're a tale of two different companies. Like when they're hurting, when they're not doing great, they give out tons of free games. They do all these incentives to try to drag you back in, completely slash the prices of like everything that they have. And when they're on top of the world, they just big dick everything, never drop prices, raise prices on old shit that people still want. Like they're just it's Nintendo. They're the worst. They're
It
both
just
the best. They're the best and the worst. They're the best at making childhoods, and they're the worst at fucking good PR in the gaming sphere. Apparently,
like this. It's weird to
they're
say.
cry bullies. Basically, is what they are.
Yeah, like this makes me want. I want them to lose. I want them to have a. I want the Switch 2 to be a loser console with no real good games and undersell completely, just to shut them the fuck up. Like, you won. You did it. You did the thing. What else do you need? You spoiled goddamn child. Fuck.
They need more. They need more and more and more. Right? Why have all the money when you can have all the money? More all.
Yeah. But Jim, we always give Nintendo some slack. Or actually, we don't give them slack. We give them shit, but it's for good reason. But then you got a different approach to
It's
your
not.
fans.
It's not just the publishers, bro. It can be the developers as well.
It
It can be
sure
the heads of
can.
companies.
So I'll be honest, I haven't read a lot of reviews for Borderlands 4. I mean, I know the general bigger things have all given it fairly high scores. I feel like everything I've read has basically been like it's Borderlands, a smoother Borderlands with better movement, and it's a loot shooter or whatever that genre is called for it. Um, that's kind of been the extent of what I've seen. No one's overpraising it, and no one's saying it's a complete dog shit game.
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm hearing from, especially from Borderlands fans, is like because everyone seemed to kind of hate Borderlands 3, and you've had like the little spin-offs like Tiny Tina's Wonderland or whatever that was called, and
Mm-hmm.
some other games, and yeah, Borderlands has kind of been for a while as a franchise, and from everyone I'm talking to, this seems like a return to form, which is good. But one thing that is getting some criticism is the PC port because apparently the performance there's complaints on there from disgruntled fans. And who else is going to come to the rescue of Borderlands than the head of Gearbox himself, a guy who's always known for being humble and quiet and staying in the background, Randy Pitchford. He had to put his stuff in. So let's dig in. So he went on to say that every PC, when talking about people complaining about the PC performance, every PC gamer must accept the reality of the relationship between their hardware and the software that they are running. We have made an amazing and fun and huge looter shooter campaign game. The game is pretty damn optimal, which means that the software is doing what we want without wasteful cycles on bad processes. He went on to insist that PC gamers have the tools to help them balance their preferences between FPS resolution, rendering features, and they should make use of them. If you aren't happy with the balance between these things you're experiencing, please tune your preferences using the tools available to you. I will say, up until this point, a pretty reasonable response. He's going, hey, there's ways out around it. It could just be you have old shit. This is a new game. It's a huge game. And acknowledging everyone is entitled to an opinion, Pitchford insisted that it is right for Gearbox to have focused on Borderlands' default settings, hitting 30 FPS on minimum specs and 60 FPS on recommended. Some of you would prefer more FPS or more features or higher resolution, and we have provided many tools to help you with these trade offs. And I will credit him on this one. If you have a shitty rig, for example, it would be much better to have a steady 30 frames per second than a variable one that might hit 60 sometimes and then chug down to like 10 other times. Like, yeah, like gamers these in this day and age are very spoiled and very FPS heavy, where like a lot of millennials and Zoomers will say that, not even millennials, fucking Zoomers and Gen Alpha. God, we're getting older by the fucking day. Say that anything under 60 is unplayable, which is wrong and stupid, but that's where we're at with gaming. So he then went Randy mode on us, Brian. He went Goblin mode. It is a mistake to believe or expect that PCs between minimum specs and recommended can achieve all the extremely high frame rate, max features, and high resolution. If that last post makes you have a negative reaction, I bet you have emotions and expectations that you feel aren't sufficiently attended to. I'm sorry. But please accept that this game is doing a lot and running pretty optimally, and that you have to accept some trade-offs in features or you'll continue to be disappointed. He went on to talk about DLSS, which is deep learning super sampling, which is like an NVIDIA AI powered thing to help you with your graphics cards. And he's then goes on to say, he's complaining about everyone having the right to have their opinions and be rageful if they want to be rageful. And basically, after a lot of blah, 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 blah tech jargon, he goes on to say, if you feel so like it's so bad, make your own fucking game. That's what it really all comes down to.
Is this a roundabout way of basically saying stop being poor?
I bet, Brian, which is a thing he's done before.
Yeah.
Recently, even.
The guy's clearly a dick. You look him up. He's one of these like, hey, sure. You know what, Jim? Yeah, I guess in general you shouldn't judge a book by his cover. But like we have a few times now, like some photos we've looked at for various topics, and you just look at them and you have an opinion. And you see this guy, you're gonna have an opinion. And you know what? His cover matches his book. And you said he has a history of being him. I'll say that. Like I know we've covered him, I feel like a few times, or at least talked generally about him.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. I guess it's like he just doesn't want to take the acceptance of like they probably fucked up something where it maybe it is too heavy on lower running systems or doesn't work as well as it should. And he's just saying, hey, user issue. What he reminds me of is an IT guy that got too famous. Like whenever you talk to an IT department, they never want to accept fault for the shit that they could have fucked up. It's like, no, it's user error. That's all this is. Just fuck with your settings. It's on you. So that's the curse, right? We always talk about consoles versus PC. PC, the problem inherently, and it's not a problem for you or I, because you and I can deal with 30 FPS or whatever. But man, if you're a spec heavy dude, your shit is going to be old. And guess what? If you had a system that was built 4 years ago and you put $4,000 into it, it might not run some shit that's fucking 100 or was it 1440K or 4K and 1440 FPS. Like That's just the way it is. So stop worrying about the specs, stop worrying about 60 FPS, play your game, play them on consoles, and guess what? I don't love saying it, but if you just have to turn down your graphics to make the game run better, just do it. Because the game isn't all about graphics. Now, if a brand new game like Borderlands, if you have to turn it down to where it looks like pixels, I can agree that's unacceptable. I doubt that's the case. They're probably like, but I can't have grass shading on, and yeah, like shut the fuck up. Play your
Yeah,
games.
I think gamers are definitely way, way, way too spoiled in this day and age with
Yeah,
what they expect and
that's
stuff.
kind of where I'm going with all this. Like, I'm not trying to be on his side at all. He's a dick. We establish that, but also, can you play the game? Is the game fun? Does it function? Move on. It's a
And
cell shaded game, right? It's not a realistic looking game. Relax.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I can understand if you're super hype and you pre-order it and you play it at launch and it kind of runs like crap. I can understand being
That
annoyed.
sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, like it does suck. And but I get, especially if you're a PC gamer, you have to know what you're getting into. Like a console gamer, you just pop it in the fucking system. Like that's always been the advantage of console. You just pop it in, and I mean in today's day and age, after a lengthy update, but it just works and it'll run how it's supposed to run with the specs that are built into the system, and everyone will have the same experience. So you almost have to weigh, like, do you do your research? And I now I don't know if there were articles talking about the problems with the performance on the PC before it came out. I have no idea, so I don't want to blame people for buying it on the wrong thing, basically. But yeah, eventually you got to be a little bit realistic and realize that if you don't have the most high end shit, you might not have the most high end experience, basically.
Yeah. If you, that's the gamble you run, right? With PC, it's like getting a new car, right? Or leasing a car. Like there's a period where you're like, you're top of the food chain. That shit go unless you're updating regularly, that shit goes away real quick. But guess what? Us console players, we have issues. We can't do a million mods. We can't do this. But guess what? Games run. They work. They function.
And eventually they sell. And speaking of games selling on a console, let's lighten up the mood. This has been one fucking depressing goddamn podcast. But let's go back in time, Brian, to a happier time, the early 2000s with the good old GameCube. And once in a while, it's fun to look back in history. And E Starland on Twitter put up a chart of the 20 best selling GameCube games of all time. So let's start from 20 back to 1, and we'll both say if we have any experience with it and what our thoughts are. Blah, de blah, de blah, de blah. So, number 20, Legend of Zelda, The Twilight Princess.
I do not have any experience with it, but what I will say is, when I played through Ocarina, I went on a kick of like watching reviews and videos on all of them. That one, that and Majora's Mask tickles my fancy the most for what I want to play next.
Hmm. Hmm. Bit of an inside joke on this one that we won't be getting into.
Looks like a good game, Jim. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
it does, doesn't it? It does,
Yeah.
doesn't it? But yeah, Twilight Princess, I've only dabbled with it a little bit. I remember being super impressed with the graphics in the trailer when it came out. I had
Yeah.
friends who played it. It looks cool. Among the general Zelda fan base, it's like it's liked. It's not like one of the ones that people always put up on that pedestal. Some kind of complain about how dark and gritty it's trying to be. That mid 2000s kind of vibe to it. But yeah, I mean it's a Zelda game. Of course, it's going to be on there.
Yeah.
Number 19, Super Mario Strikers, 1.6 million units. Uh,
I,
Go
I
on.
don't remember if I have this or the baseball game for the GameCube.
I think you got baseball. That was like one of your
Do
good
I?
goodwill grabs. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, I guess spoiler. This is so heavy just first party games, which I guess is never shocking, but it is just unabashedly just first party games.
There's like one or two second party games, and that's it. Let's put it that way. So I mean, which is actually shocking because, well, I mean, like Sega's third party on here. That's fine. But it is kind of shocking because of like a lot of the games that were like, I remember being a big deal at the time. We'll get to that after. But
Yeah.
number 18, Sonic Adventure DX, the little bit troubled port of Sonic Adventure from the Dreamcast. But you know what? The Sega fans came with it. They're like, holy shit, Sonic's on a Nintendo console now. I don't like Sonic Adventure. People say I should play it on the Dreamcast, and I just don't care enough. So you do you, Sonic fans. You have
But
fun.
you're yeah, you're a weird fucking animal. You're like the Sega guy, but you hate Sonic. It seems like you love and hate Sonic. You have such a weird love and hate
I have a
for
lot of
Sonic.
nostalgia for the old Sonics, and all the 3D Sonics I've ever touched, I've gone, yeah, it sucks. It's not good.
Shadow's great. So much replayability.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I would rather play Shadow any day over either Sonic Adventure game because at least I have to get used to one bad play style. So, number 17, Resident Evil 4. Uh, it was part of that, what was it, the Capcom 5? When they had that huge press conference about Capcom, bringing all these exclusive first party or, third party games to the GameCube. The deals fell through. Some of the games didn't even come out. And a lot of them eventually got ported everywhere. Most notably Resident Evil 4, which is now found on every fucking console ever. So, but even then, it's still weird that it only sold 1.6 million units. Then again, I think the GameCube only sold like 20 million units in total.
So I had to look this up myself. So Resident Evil 4 was the reason I got the GameCube. Just like Resident Evil 0 or not 0, Resident Evil Code Veronica was the reason I got a Dreamcast. I followed where Resident Evil went. Um, what made me happy was when it did come to PlayStation 2. I thought it played better on that, which is I'm just gonna guess it sold better on PlayStation 2. 3 million copies on PlayStation 2. So yeah, it sold better on PlayStation 2. Nation or in total, it sold 14.7 million copies. Um, what's interesting is obviously I know how big Resident Evil 4 is, but the other big selling point for me for the GameCube was Resident Evil 1 Remake. Like I'm
Oh, yeah.
shocked that's not on here.
Yeah, same here. And actually, like, yeah, the remake's not on here, and Zero, because I remember Zero was, I think, the first Resident Evil that came out on the GameCube. And I remember being so jealous as a PlayStation 2 kid that I couldn't get to it because of how much I loved the Resident Evil games. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like crazy that neither of those made this list. But yeah, moving on. Number 16, Pikmin. I just played it for the first time this year, and I loved it. So yeah, it's good to see it up here. It's a little bit of a weird little genre RTS kind of game, RTS adjacent, I would have to say, but yeah, should be here.
It's Lemmings in 3D. Come on.
It's more than just Lemmings, Brian. It's completely different from Lemmings.
It's Lemmings and Mist at the same time.
Next up at number 15, Mario Party 6. I think this is the only Mario Party I have on the GameCube, and I weirdly have two copies because I bought at a Goodwill a case of some other game. Oh, I think it was like Super Monkey Ball or Animal Crossing, and then I come home and open it up, and it's another copy of Mario Party 6, and I went, "What the fuck?" So yeah, that was a lesson learned that day, to always open up the game and make sure you're getting what you're getting. But yeah, it's Mario Party. It's fun.
Expect to hear that a few times this here.
Yeah. Number 14, Sonic Adventure 2, with 1.73 million units. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Man, fuck that game. That game sucks. So, you know what? If you played it back then, you'll like it. If you try to play it now for the first time, you're going to hate it. Sorry, Sonic fans. Number 13, a game that's had a kind of weird thing in the zeitgeist. Star Fox Adventures with 1.82 million units. When it came out, everyone kind of went, what the fuck is this? As history has told us, this was originally going to be Dinosaur Planet, and then, the whole thing with Rare, and it came over to the GameCube. They pushed it off from the N64. Miyamoto said this will never sell, throw Star Fox in it, so they did. And yeah, it seems for a while it was kind of a hated game with a few fans. Now it seems to be having like a more fondly looked back kind of deal. It's one I never played because I saw it in the like a kiosk. I played it for 5 minutes and I'm like, well, why am I playing like this fantasy action collectathon kind of game at Star Fox? So
Yeah. It's a weird. Yeah, it's weird.
yeah. Number 12, Super Mario or Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door. Widely considered the best one. I've been meaning to get around to the remake that's on the Switch, but I haven't yet. So I mean it's a RPG, so it's not
I've heard
exactly high on
nothing
my
but good stuff for it. I'll never play it, but I've heard good stuff.
yeah, it's not high on my priority list, but I know people who absolutely love it. Number 11, Mario Party 7 with 2.8 million units. Okay, another Mario
Yep.
Party. Speaking of, number 10, Mario Party 5 with 2.17 million units. Man, what checks mix did fucking Mario Party 6 piss in to not be up here with these guys?
That's what I'm like, it just, we're not even done with the Mario parties. And I don't, what's really that different that really stood out? Like, you would have thought the fatigue of 7 would have been beyond 6, but yeah, 6 must have pissed people off somehow.
Yep. Number 9, Pokemon Coliseum at 2.4 million. So, yeah, kind of the successor to the Pokemon Stadium kind of series. I never got around to playing it, so I couldn't tell you anything about it.
You know, I didn't.
Yeah, true. Number 8, Mario Party 4 at 2.46 million. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
I mean, that was the first Mario Party to come out on there, so I'm sure the hype was there, so that's why it sold the most. Makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah. That one makes sense.
Number 7, Animal Crossing, 2.7 million units. Again, a series, we all know how huge it is. We know what fucking New Horizons was on the Switch. I've never touched the series.
And number will.
I don't need a chores simulator. I
Yes,
have
you do.
chores.
No, you need more. You gotta clean toilets virtually too, Jim.
I need the bells, Brian. I need to farm and sell my bells. Number 6, Metroid Prime at 2.84. So I have a weird history with this. I've never liked Metroid Prime. Uh,
Hmm.
I played it in kiosks. I didn't like how it controlled. I would go to a friend's house, dick around with it for a little bit. Never liked how it controlled. When the trilogy came out on the Wii, I went, all right, I love the way the Wii Resident Evil 4 controlled. Maybe it'll convert me with Metroid Prime. Played it for a little bit. Never liked how it controlled. So I have the remake.
What's the issue with the control?
It's just it's just weird. Like it's just got that old like on the GameCube, you have to like stop and aim, like you can't move and aim kind of deal that we used to today. So it's almost a
Okay.
little bit tanky of an FPS. It's very clunky. And then you're doing that again on the Wii, but you're using the Wiimote. So you have better control of your aiming, but it's still just it doesn't feel as fluid as it should. So
Hmm.
I hear the remake for Switch improved a lot of things, both graphics and with the control. So I have the remake. That's on my list for this year. And Metroid Prime, I hear, is a pretty short game. Anyway, it's like maybe 7 hours. So when I get done, now that my little obsession with StarCraft is, waning, I'll finish fucking Prince of Persia. I'll hop into Metroid Prime while I'm doing Max Payne, so we can do that for the patrons, obviously. But
Yeah.
maybe finally it'll click. Maybe finally, maybe modern advancements will finally help me out. But what about you?
I am highly interested in trying out my Metroid Prime. I haven't played a Metroid I haven't enjoyed, and Prime seems interesting. So similar to you, I don't know which one I would get. I'm like, do I go to the original? Do I get the remake? I don't know. But I'm very interested in trying that game.
Uh, so I mean, I love Metroid Prime Pinball. That's a great fucking pinball game right there. So just throwing it out there, throwing it into the ether. Next up, Luigi's Mansion. This is one you played what last year? I've still never touched one. I want to
Yeah.
play this series, but I've never gotten around to it.
It's what you would expect, but it's still good. You know, like I tried to play it, like my son lost interest in it, but he did see it. Like I was trying to do it around Halloween, like, oh, like this is a game that's not gonna be too scary. Um, it's fun, it's cute. Obviously, Nintendo's first party, especially anything Mario related in general, is not going to be bad. I have Luigi's Mansion 3. I haven't played it yet on the Switch. And then what is it? 2 got released on the eShop or
Yeah,
something.
two's got re-released on the Switch because originally it was only on the 3DS.
Yeah. So it's a franchise I'll beat for sure. But no, it's a lot of fun and it makes sense. It's the only Mario horror themed game, if you want to call it horror themed, Halloween. I don't know.
But
Spooky
Brian,
themed is probably more appropriate.
but Brian, wasn't Hotel Mario scary?
Don't you dare! Don't you
Uh,
dare!
Next up, Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. 4.43 million units, which we're getting to the point where it's like, 20% of GameCube owners have this game. Uh, I mean, yeah, very controversial when it came out because of the very kiddified cell shaded graphics coming off of Ocarina and Majora's Mask. But people seem to like it. I hear the Wii U version is 1,000 times better because it has so many quality of life improvements with like the mapping and the fast travel and other things. Where I hear if you try to go back to the original, it's kind of a slog, but people do seem to love it though. I've never personally touched it.
I probably never will. That style does turn it does nothing for me. It's
You've
too
always
cute.
hated cell shading. You've always hated
I
it.
I well, here's the deal. I mean, no, because
You
technically,
just hate
what was
things that
that?
are cute.
No, no, yeah. If a game is too cutesy, I generally probably I don't like it. I'm not a girl. I don't know what to say. Like I don't. Same way it does nothing for me. You know,
Just don't have
like.
joy in your cold black heart. That's what you have.
Are you kidding me? You are the most joyless motherfucker in the world.
I am
You hate
happy
everything.
at all times. Every
Yeah,
second of the
right.
day, I'm happy.
That is a lie, and you know it, sir.
Next up, Super Mario Sunshine with 5.91 million units. I've played it here and there. Never liked it. It's just like I get what they're going for, but it's like the fucking water pack and the all that shit. I get it, but everyone picked it up at the back in the day and went, "This is the Mario you're doing with this? This is what you're doing after Super Mario 64?"
I feel like
All
it's
right.
the least talked about of Mario or mainline mainstream games.
Sometimes that's for a reason, Brian.
Yep.
Next up, Mario Kart Double Dash, 6.88 million units. This is like this has gone through a couple cycles itself where like it has its fans, and then people said it's like the unsung, like hidden gem of all the Mario Karts. And now we're in a phase where everyone's like, yeah, that's kind of one of the bad ones. And I own it. I played the hell out of it. I don't think I ever actually fully finished it, but I thought it was great. Like, I really like the gimmick of switching off characters and, like, holding each person holding their own, kind of
Or
specials and holding on
yeah.
to an item and all that bull crap. So, like, I thought the level designs were pretty good. They maybe some of them are memorable. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great entry. I liked it way more than like Mario Kart Wii or like 7 or 8 or one of the ones. Like the first one on the DS was great, but like the other one on the 3DS was like kind of eh. So yeah, like I don't know why it's getting so much hate in this day and age. That's what I just wanted to put out there.
I just think it's probably just didn't have enough exposure. So people discount it automatically because it's not the one they grew up with. Because not once again, in general, GameCube, pretty weak selling console. So I think it probably gets a lot of undue hate just for that reason.
Yeah, I can go with that. And number one, to really the surprise of no one, Smash Melee.
It has it ever it was to me, I think, always the undefeated champion. Has Ultimate finally dethroned it? Do you think?
I mean, I think Ultimate's better, but in the mind of the hardcore Smash autists, it hasn't. But they're also all the pedophiles. So can we really take their opinion on this one?
Damn it, Jim.
I, I, I'm just saying, Brian. I'm just saying. I just put things out there. All right.
Don't you dare.
I'm just saying.
Don't. Don't. I mean, no, Ultimate's better. Right? At the end of the day, it's kind of like how we used to talk about fighting. Any fighting game, period. The larger In time, the controls, the rosters, especially if you have the same roster. So rosters are the same, controls, you can have a preference on liking the GameCube controller more than anything you can use on the Switch, but still, um, it is a great game, and that is probably the one you and I played the most together for a while because I had it, and you would come over and we would play it a lot. So
Oh yeah. I mean, I
yeah,
remember my best friend growing up. Like, they came home one day with the. We were doing a sleepover that weekend, and he came home with the GameCube, and the two games they had were Melee and weirdly the FIFA that was that year. That was a good game actually. The FIFA was fun. Uh,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, we put so much goddamn time to Smash Melee. Like, it's the most beloved one for a reason, and it sold the most. It makes total sense.
yeah, no, great game. You know me, I love a good list. One of the most unshocking lists I've ever seen. I'll say though, a
Oh
little
yeah,
Nintendo heavy, just a little bit.
just a wee
Like
bit.
I would have loved to see some Eternal Darkness on there, or like I said, mix in a few others, but we are where we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing that happens.
Kind of like when games fail that should be predecessors to one of the most popular RTSs of all time, Jim.
Yep. So, as anyone who's followed this page knows, and even earlier in this fucking episode, I am a StarCraft 2 fanatic. Love me, the goddamn thing. Even have a second page for it, all that bullshit. Links below, like, comment, subscribe. But uh it's been 15 years since StarCraft 2 was released. It's been over 10 years since the last major expansion, Legacy of the Void, has been released. And in the number of years, there's been little patches here and there. There's been balancing. A lot of stuff that they put in there to try to appease the competitive scene because that's who the developers listen to. But it's it's weird because it's kind of fallen off in a lot of ways. It's kind of a dead game. Like, it has its fans, it has its tournaments, but fucking Brood War from 1998 is still 1,000 times more popular. It still has way bigger payouts, way bigger tournaments, and it's like still. I mean, it's kind of a perfect RTS, so whatever. It kind of makes sense, but like that's still like the national sport of Korea, basically. So everyone's
That's so sad. I'm sorry. I have to say that. It's sad. Go on.
right. You can't be perfection, all right? It's tough to do. So,
It's their
uh,
national sport, Jim. Come on.
look, it's a game where, Brood War is so funny because it's somehow over the years morphed from being a game where every unit is so overpowered, it somehow naturally balanced itself out. It's fucking crazy. But with all that being said, so Stormgate, uh, from Frost Giant Studios, where I'll be honest, Bride, before I put this on here, did you ever hear of Stormgate?
Sure didn't, Jim. I did a lot of research after you put this on here and I was looking into them, but man, oh man, have I never heard of them before this.
And you know what? Neither have I. But in the RT, when I started to get into back into StarCraft and making a channel and trying to follow RTS centered channels, it's like everyone's talking about this Stormgate. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And all I'm seeing is just hate. And they're like, Frost Giant fucked up again. Frost Giant lied. Frost Giant robbed people. I'm going, ooh, what's going on here? And luckily, there's a video out there that you can watch that 16 and a half minutes long, sums up the entire story of it super well. Link is below by a guy with only 89 subscribers named Wimpy, who, as of right now, this video has just shy of 30,000 views. So, and he goes through the story basically how it is a game. Frost Giant was made by two ex Blizzard developers who said that they had worked on StarCraft 2 to try and sell this new FPS they were working on. I'm going to give a lot of the Cliff Notes versions here.
Yeah.
They were promising like the most social RTS in the world with all these open network interplay kind of options, and people could jump in and jump out of games. This super complex campaign that they were promising, all this kind of stuff. And then there were problems. So, first off, the developers in question weren't, they made it sound like they were from StarCraft 2 from the start, and they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
They came on around Legacy of the Void, right after Legacy of the Void, helped with some content patches and shit like that, but they weren't like the driving forces behind StarCraft 2 and its success. Uh, but I mean, they went out there, they did conventions, they did, game award shows, all these things, put tons of money into trailers and all this other stuff. And they launched a Kickstarter, originally with $100,000 goal. And it became the number one video game Kickstarter of 2023. And it had already raised $35 million in its initial round of funding for Stormgate out of a lot of private investors and stuff like that. And then they still went and launched a Kickstarter that went on to gross over $2.4 million from 28,000 people. And the story of just they kept going out there selling it to different private vendors to get more funding. And there was just stuff along the way. So eventually, at one point, they released a beta that everyone universally just absolutely panned and hated. And the question came, well, how is this so bad? And then it comes out to say that they had a whole game going that they completely fucking scrapped after they were getting bad early reaction. And they started from square one into the Stormgate that we eventually got. And it eventually released. And it's basically sitting at about a 55% positive on Steam. That's not good. And not only that, they're already basically saying that they're done supporting the game. It's already kind of a dead game. It's already being pulled after over time raising over $40 million between fans and investors for a game that just literally came and went. And no reviews for it were good, except for IGN, who gave it an 8 out of 10.
Jim, you and I have talked about this. We're both big RTS fans, and obviously, like you said, with your second channel, you're getting into it. Like, I would love a resurgence, but I think it's just a genre it's probably not, for whatever reason. It just can't be recaptured. Kind of like full motion video, right? Like that was a thing of the 90s that people grew up with it, loved it, and were like, oh man, we're not going to see that come back. And for good reason, right? Like it was a thing of the times. I will always have a special place in my heart, but like, yeah, RTS is like Dawn, Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War just did a re-release, like with all the DLC and upgraded texture package. I downloaded, I played it, really enjoyed it. People loving it, but I know that's not going to have all of a sudden a resurgence. Like, yeah, playing it, I enjoyed it, but man, the game, it's tough to say, but it shows its age like an old style comedy from the 70s or 80s, which might have still made you laugh, but like they show their age, right? So, not shocked it didn't do well. I just don't think that genre has a place anymore for whatever reason. I just think people are moved on. Kind of like, do they really still make Sims games anymore? There was a period of that. Like, no.
No, EA's been milking Sims with expansions still. Like Sims 4, they still put out expansions for like every year or two for some reason. So I guess it has
But they
enough
have
fans,
to be
but
on life support at this point. They're not like thriving like they were, right? Like that
no. And
was
like,
the thing.
yeah, and like The Sims, like was in the early 2000s was such a like a phenomenon where like
Yeah,
in today's day and age, who the fuck talks about The Sims? No one.
no one. So RTSs, I love you. Jim loves you. I'm sorry. Just if you're a developer, I don't care what you used to do or this or that. You're probably not, you're just not making it anymore these days. So yeah, I can't say I'm shocked, but I sure as shit, it didn't help that even someone like me who's ignorant, I still hear about the big games. Never even heard a whisper of this one.
Yeah, same here. And with how connected into social media and shit like that I am, like the fact I never heard a thing about this
Yeah,
until I started to dip my toes into a niche. Like RTS is like to your point. They'll be around. It's just always going to be a nerdy niche kind of subset of gaming.
yeah,
I would be it would need like a Baldur's Gate 3 level just come out of nowhere super hit to put it back on the map.
true.
And
Yeah,
like because like anything can come back because like, for as much as we love like XCOM and shit like that, XCOM 2 is a big game, but it didn't do what Baldur's Gate did. And even then,
No.
like there's Baldur's Gate clones, but none of them are doing all that great. Like it seems like a genre that
Yeah.
people would hop on, but like you need a steady hand to make it. And RTSs with the level of bouncing you have to do, even harder. So yeah. I have to say I agree. I don't think it's ever going to have a heyday again. It'll always be around. It's a good spin-off if people put the love into it. Like I liked Halo Wars. I thought that was a good little baby's first RTS, but it was a
You
baby's
upset
first
you loved
RTS.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same way I loved Alien Extinction or AVP Extinction for a console based RTS. Love the shit out of it. I don't know how the general public did, but I loved the hell out of every minute I played. But they just don't do that shit anymore.
So yeah, I mean, I guess rest in piss Stormgate for completely mismanaging $40 million, but
Well,
it's another
that's a crazier part of all
it's
this. But
another cautionary tale with the all these fucking Kickstarters and getting hype for, one of these love letter kind of games. It just works out so much less than it ever works. It's crazy.
just learn to calm your tits when you're supporting something you love. That's all.
Yep. But Brian, as we wrap this up, let's bring back an oldie. An old bit that we have not done in way too long. Overrated, underrated. So, you know what? I was sitting around thinking, and this is inspired from when I went up to New York. Bri, this week's overrated, underrated, taking the scenic route. Now, we live in the United States. We live in a major metropolitan area. We're used to the hustle and bustle. We're used to the everyone everywhere, traffic jams, and having shit to do and having to get there as quick as possible. Always either feeling like you're running behind and never really being able to enjoy it. Like, especially in Philadelphia, we have two fucking roads that connect the entire city, and they're both awful. So, when I went to New York, there were three ways I could take. Two of them went through major roadways that would take me 40 miles out of my way to save about 15 minutes of total drive time. Or I could go the more direct route and go through a ton of random back roads, and I would get there about 20 minutes later. But I would be on saving 40 miles. But yeah, so save 40 miles taking the back roads or getting there as quick as possible taking boring interstates. So I did that, Brian. And I have to say, I loved every fucking second of it. There's something so nice about just driving through. It was literally about the last leg was 60 miles of just pure backwoods, northern PA, southern New York State. Just small town after small town where you have a Dollar General and a gas station slash bar. That's the center of town. Again and again, seeing cobwebs the size of horses, basically. A bat hit my windshield as I was driving. And, right, God damn it. Sometimes you just have to just disconnect and get away. And I'm so kind of sick, like as a guy pushing 40. I've done every interstate that's in the area around here. I've done long drives, and I fucking hate them. There's nothing worse than like driving down multiple states, knowing you have to take I-95 and going, all right, I have to be on my guard this entire time, or I'm going to be flattened like a pancake by something. Where a nice 2-lane road, sure, it might take a little goddamn longer, but for once you can just enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. As someone who has to travel for my work, I found some routes to DC and parts of Virginia and West Virginia where there's a random like bridge or area in Delaware that you can take that it does take you technically mileage longer, but it's less traffic and it's just a prettier drive is the word I'm going to use. And I find myself being much more calm when I do take that drive. And to your point, like soon I'm going to be going to Vermont. Um and I'm all for taking, you know, like I try to use the drive as a good like barometer of like calm yourself, see some shit. Even if you got the kids in the background and they're freaking out, like no, I think it's better than sitting in traffic or like you said, being on the highway and you're tense the whole way. Humans ain't meant to do that, Jim. We're supposed to see nature, see some shit. The scenic route is something you appreciate much more. When you're younger, you just want to get to the place as fast as you can. Cool. There are scenic ways we can go down the shore that you can take back ways. It will take a while, but we know there's also a quicker way, a hour and a half, 2 hour way, and it's the way everyone takes. Um, I get it now. Like getting to that place is not going to make it that much better if you saved yourself 20 or 30 minutes if you were stressed or whatever. So I'm like you. I also like, I am a fan of seeing like what are the towns like in this area? What are like homes like? You know, like there's something to that. We know growing up where we did, there's a little sneaky way to get into Trenton in the north where you don't really need to pay tolls. Uh, you go up like Route One way, and it's I consider it almost more back roadsy than the typical 95 to Walt Whitman to this. And you know, there's different ways, and I support scenic all the way for sure. Now, there are parts of the country where, like, I imagine if you go out to like Nebraska or Idaho, where it's just like corn, scenic's probably pretty boring too. Like there is no such thing as scenic. But for us, yeah, I'll avoid major interstates whenever I can.
Yeah, I do wonder, like, I want to hear from like people like you're saying, like in the Rust Belt almost, where it's just like,
Yeah.
it's nothing but miles upon miles, hundreds of miles of just flat plains. And do you just get
Yeah.
bored off your tit of that eventually? And like, would you like to be on something a little bit more exciting? And actually, it's funny to your point when you're talking about back roads down to shore points. One time we went down to AC, which from like Philly proper to AC, hour and a half tops. You're going on the
Yeah.
AC Expressway, it moves, and without traffic, like you're there quick. For whatever reason, we wound up taking back roads when our friends drove us, and it took probably 2.5 to 3 hours to get there. But this is
Oof.
one of those ones where it just like it was cool seeing all these random parts of middle South Jersey that I would have never seen before. But it felt like it took like 7 hours.
Forever.
It
Yeah.
was one of the longest drives ever. So I guess there is that caveat with the scenic route where there better be something worth looking at on this scenic route, or you're just going to be bored off your tit the entire time too.
I would, yeah. So my caveat with scenic routes is probably take that the first time you ever go somewhere. So as like you just said, AC, there's a built-in thing in your head that goes, we should be there in this amount of time. And once you start getting an hour or more over that, you're like, what the fuck? Whereas if you take the scenic route the first time, it'll fuck with you. Because then if you're like, okay, I know what to expect. An AC drive, if all of a sudden it's not an hour and a half, it's a 2 hour and your mindset's there, you can deal with it. So yeah, if you can, take scenic routes whenever you can. Like my wife despises driving on highways, so she will do anything to avoid. She'll put in her map like avoid tolls. So she's always taking back roads. I also, in almost 10 years being married, I think there's been a total of 3 times I've ever let her drive. So, I'm just pointing that out as well.
Right, is that
But
because she takes longer or because she's a woman?
yes. But no,
Right,
like,
correct answer.
but this is one of those where scenic routes are highly, highly recommended. Like, and it's also it's an analogy for life, right? Like, stop trying. Everything doesn't need to be efficient. Everything doesn't need to be as fast as it can. Because guess what? You're still going to show up to your hotel a little too early. Your room's not going to be ready. You might as well have seen some cool shit on the way in. You know that
Yeah,
that that's how I feel about it. So
agreed.
I like that.
Get you some culture. Take the scenic route. Get away from the
That's
hustle
right.
and bustle. Unless you need it and you already lives in some backwoods hellhole. And in that case, it's like,
Yeah, they're probably people who probably only take back roads all day, every day, don't get on interstates are like, that's exciting as shit. Or maybe they hate it. I don't know.
oh, dude, it's funny. Like if you like anytime, like my job is about an hour outside of Philly, and if you go like another half hour, even that far out, you'll see people who are like, "Oh, I never go to the city." Besides them being
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's too dangerous out there." They're like, "Oh, I tried to drive down there and I thought I was going to die the entire time." And it's
Oh,
like,
dude.
yeah,
I mean, think about the number one thing. Like most people are in one way or another used to 95, but man, people who never drove on the boulevard.
Oh,
get a taste of that shit. And if you're from Philly, you know what we're talking about. Like you got to know what you're doing. It's one of those things. It's like when you see videos of people ordering cheesesteaks at certain places and they get shit. Like if you don't know what you're doing on the boulevard, oh, it is not the place to drive. I'm just gonna say that.
the first time I ever drove super high was on the boulevard. Like I was on the boulevard. Yeah, we were at like Nifty Fifty's parking lot and like we smoked up and shit like that. And we're driving and I had never had like a real bad, like super hard high from weed before. So I'm driving, I'm going south, and I'm all of a sudden I'm like, uh-oh, what's this feeling? And all of a sudden my feet go numb. And I'm like, oh fuck. And I know that I have like another 20 minutes of driving on this goddamn boulevard before I where I gotta go. Dude, that was the most nerve-wracking drive of my entire life. The whole time I was like, well, this is where I die. This is how it's gonna happen. I
Yep,
don't know if I'm braking, I don't know if I'm gassing right
that's
now. I don't
a
know what's going on.
that is a rough spot to. Whew. Yeah,
My hands be playing tricks on me, the anxiety, the paranoia, all at once on probably the most like dangerous road in all of Philadelphia.
by the way, I got to throw out a gripe of drivers in general. So, people I work with, I work in Philly. And when you work in Philly, you're naturally going to work with a lot of South Jerseyans. Um, the way they try to shit on PA drivers, I'm like, Jersey drivers are the dumbest motherfuckers. They don't know how to turn left. They don't know how to parallel park. You can't even pump your own gas. Their one argument is too often when you're on an interstate, PA drivers are driving slow in the left lane. And I'm like, I'll give it to you, New Jersey drivers. Like, yeah, you probably do. You're faster on that. I'm like, but we introduce a city or a turn left or a do anything else. You guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. So I just point that out. They're worse drivers than us.
Oh, yeah, by far. I mean, no one's worse than Florida. We'll put it out there. Because
Yeah.
somehow they find their way all through
Yes.
the fucking East Coast, and no matter what state you are, you'll be behind some guy in Florida, and you'll go, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I will say, Philly, I can't speak for all PA, but Philly drivers, we are an impatient lot. I'll say that.
Oh yeah, I've
Very
had
impatient.
I've had so many people in their rearview mirror cursing back at me, and I'm going, I don't even know what I did. What did I do? I'm just driving.
You know
We're an
what you
ex-
did.
we're an excitable bunch. We're an angry bunch. Yeah, I know. I was bored.
But Chambers, the real question is, how is that upscale New York beer treating you tonight?
You know what? No, the Upward was very good. I eventually moved on to some Yingling lights that I had sitting in the fridge. But no, if you're in the Catskills, upstate New York, well, Catskills are lower New York. But if you're in New York or Upper PA, you have a chance to get you something from Catskill area and Upward Brewing. Very, very solid IPA. There's nothing I can say that makes it stand out, almost outside of how light and not overly piney it is. So if you
Okay.
really hate pine, especially in IPAs, and that's why you don't drink it, another gateway drug IPA, I'll say.
Okay. Yeah, and Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest, it's really easy to drink. Wouldn't be bad, even on some of these warmer. It's not fall yet, but you know what I mean, fall days. Thing I don't like about this one, it's leaving. I taste the breadiness now, but what it tastes like is stale bread in my mouth. Now that
Mm.
it's like I've been done with it, instead of like the leftover bitter flavor or sometimes overly sweet flavor, this like tastes like I had old pretzels. Like it's
Oh,
leaving a weird thing in my mouth. So I don't. It's making me like it less. But while I was drinking it, it was enjoyable. So I don't know how to feel about this beer. Like it's a very weird sensation, right? Like you enjoyed it while you have it, but now I'm like, I'm getting dry mouth too. Like it's a weird sensation. So
yeah,
can't
weird.
I'm not gonna recommend it. There's a lot better Oktoberfest beers. I'm just gonna say that. But yeah, with that, guys, we want to say thank you all so much for listening and watching. If you are watching on YouTube, please hit the notification bell, subscribe. Be sure to leave us comments. And if you're listening on Podbean, iTunes, or Spotify, if you leave us a 5-star rating, we'll read each and every one of your comments on these Power Hour podcasts. With that, we want to say have a good night, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Rest in peace, Billy.